What's up, rail fans? My name is Destroyer and welcome back to Train Sim World 2. In today's video, guys, I wanted to do that German safety systems tutorial video where I drive a train, the ICE3, I think it is in this particular line, along the Schnellfahrstrecke Köln line, with all the safety systems enabled. So I'm going to go to timetable. I'm not going to do it into Talon 2 because the LZB is actually not on Talon 2. It's got like all the interface and all that set up for it, but it's actually in real life, in the real world. LZB is actually not enabled on those trains, so we have to do it on the ICE for this particular line. That is a true story. As you can see here, I have done a few timetable runs. With this one, I actually did try recording this video earlier, but the game crashed. But I just reloaded it and finished it off and got a good old gold medal. But anyway, in today's video, guys, I'm going to do this one I haven't done. So what is that? About quarter to 6 in the afternoon from Brussels, apparently. Good old Brussels. So we're going to Brussels to Aachen, I believe, that run. Now, I think the other one is Frankfurt or something like that. Anyway, Brussels, MIDI, high-speed train, begin. Alright, first thing we're going to do is get it into forward to enable some power. Enough power to open the doors. Hopefully. Yep, there we go. I noticed that I had to keep raising the good old panto. Because it doesn't collect enough power. It's strange. Anyway, we are now going to enable all the safety systems. So SIFA on, PZB on, and LZB. Stand up. Okay, everyone's getting off my train, no one's getting on. Screw you all. Yeah, look at you walking in slow motion. Freaking weirdos. Anyway, we're gonna go sit down. I keep forgetting that's an automatic door. Right, shut that one. We'll sit down, we'll make sure we have our headlights on. They're on normal, good enough for me. Make sure the brakes have been released. I don't really need brakes. Well, we do kind of, but not really. I mean, the reverser is in forward, so... But anyway, before we get started, we are going... Oh, what does that say? Wait until 17:45. Okay. Now, we're going to be driving with AFB, which is... you can turn it on via this lever here, but I prefer to use keyboard shortcuts. That's just a preference. But in order to turn it on, we'll hit the 9 key. Or the 9 button on the display here. Now these 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and 25 kilometers, they are preset speeds, but I don't know why you would want to drive that slow. That's just stupid. AFB aus, that means it's off currently. But we are going to hit 6. Right? And she'll say that 3 times. Which signalize, well, that tells the driver that AFB has been turned on. If you want to turn it off, you just press 1. And she'll she'll say the same stuff. But we're going to hit 6 anyway because we want it on. Now this AFB is essentially, if you don't know anything about it, it is essentially an autopilot for the train. So the train will drive itself essentially. And it works in conjunction with LZB, okay? Right, so that's all ready to go. It's telling us to lock the doors, so let's do that. Any money, this stays locked out when I go to move. Probably have to re-raise the panto. Release the brakes. Yeah, see how it's locked? This is so silly. Close the circuit. Oh, hang on, you gotta do it. There we go. See how it's gone white? It's now been released. Now, because we do have... We gonna move? Yellow. Can we go? We're in forward. Cool tutorial video, man. You can't even get the train to move. Why are we not moving? Hang on. Yeah, the doors are closed. You know why? It's because I've enabled AFB and it's on 0 kilometers an hour. That's why we're not moving. So I'm going to use the shortcut. Set it to 40 kilometers an hour because we are in PZB. This technically, I was going to say, it should be alternating between 70 and 85, which it is doing. And that means Can't go any faster than 40 kilometers an hour. Even though it says 45, by law, like in real world train drivers in Germany, they can't go any faster than 40. And when it flashes like that, that means no faster than 45. But ignore that. Don't go any faster than 40. There's the signals. We can just go past them. We don't have to acknowledge any of them. There's the SIFA. I'm going to hit the Q key on PC, obviously. I can't remember what the button is for consoles. I haven't played a train simulation game on a console for many, many years, so I can't remember. Any of you console gamers out there will be able to let people know if they do not know. If they ask, I do not. I cannot remember. Anyway. Yeah, so that's alternating. That means no faster than 40. If it's a solid 85... with 1000 hertz, because 1000 hertz will pop up when we acknowledge a signal post. I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'd rather explain it as it's happening. But, okay, track speed is 60 in 100 meters. But if it's a solid 85 like that with 1000 hertz lit up in this section of the HUD, that means you can't go any faster than 80 kilometers an hour. Remember to shave off 5 kilometers, because that's what the real life train drivers have to do. Now, once we get into LZB, section of LZB track, because I'll zoom in, there'll be like a wire down the middle of the track, and also it will beep at me, and a little U will pop up here. So this will disappear, because once we're driving with LZB, that overrides PZB. So we don't have to worry about PZB while we're driving with LZB, okay? I know there's a lot of L's and P's and Z's and B's going on, but it shouldn't be too hard to follow. Yes, I will most likely repeat myself a billion times during this video, but, you know, I just like to get my point across. So, okay, track speed in 1.3 kilometers is 140 kilometers an hour, but we can increase the speed. I'm just hitting the R key to increase. It's the F key to decrease. For example, 60, 70, 80. It's currently at 80 kilometers an hour. And I'm just waiting for LZB to kick in. You'll be able to see the wire as well down the middle of the track, which there it is right there. See it? And there's the thing letting us know that LZB is in effect, so that's what I mean. It's overridden PZB. That's why that 85 has disappeared as well. So now essentially, what we can do is set AFB to the maximum, which is 330 kilometers an hour. We can go full throttle. There we go. It was stuck on 9 for a second there. So up to 10. Now, essentially, the train is driving itself. So if you're a scenic driver or anything like that, which I admit I am most of the time, you can look around at the lovely scenery. You know, you can check your frame rate. Look at that. Yeah, beautiful. The only thing you really have to take care of now is the SIFA. And it's going to be like this for the next 20 or so kilometers. So when we get to around about 38, I think it is, 38 kilometers away from Aachen, that is when LZB, yeah, we're out of LZB. So that will disable itself. And you'll also see a G symbol will pop up in this section here. That means the train is going to be slowing down, because if I zoom in here on the speedo, because essentially this is LZB, right? 9,900, that is kilometers. Well, that's meters. So 10,000 meters is 10 kilometers. 4,000, 3,000, so it's 4 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer, 750 meters, 500 meters, 250 meters, and so on, right? Because obviously 1,000 meters makes up 1 kilometer. But as you can see, full throttle, I'm not doing anything. I'm not driving the train right now. It's all AFB. But yeah, so a G will pop up when it slows down, when it's due to slow down. So when we have to go down to 160 kilometers an hour, as indicated here, a G will pop up here and it will naturally slow down. It will slow itself down. You can, of course, manually brake to help it, but it's a pretty good, like, the system's been well implemented, so it works very well. So you don't really have to brake manually. And by the way, just as we reach the end of LZB, end will pop up here, the same as that, ENDE. So that exact symbol will pop up there, and all you got to do is hit the N key on the keyboard. I'm not sure what button it is on a console controller. But yeah, it's just, you know, you can just kick back as a driver now and take a sip of your coffee, take a bite of your Mars bar or your Snickers bar, whatever you prefer. Maybe you're eating a hamburger, I don't know. Performance-wise, this game has been okay-ish lately. Yes, I am still playing on my editing PC. If you're new to the channel, I am still currently upgrading my main gaming rig. So it's kind of lucky that I've got a... Basically, it's kind of like a backup PC. I do all my editing on this particular PC, but yeah. While my main gaming rig is it's like half a PC at the moment. It's got missing components and all sorts of stuff because like I said, I am currently upgrading it. And it is taking a little longer than I expected. There's a few things I've had to buy and stuff like that. Which is always a setback with the financials. Because unfortunately, I'm not rich. It'd be nice if a PC company gave me a PC for free. That'd be nice. Get my first sponsor. Hashtag sponsor me. Let's go. But anyway, it is what it is. Like I said, I am lucky that I got another PC that I can game and record on. Obviously, performance isn't top-notch, but it's better than nothing, so... I'm doing the best with what I've got for the moment. Clear to SIFA. Now, the big difference between SIFA and PZB is... Because you've got 2.5 seconds to clear to SIFA. If 2.5 seconds elapses... then the little yellow symbol will pop up. Then you got another 2.5 seconds to clear it. If you don't clear it within that 5 seconds, SIFA will start to apply the brakes. But the big difference between that and PZB is you can just clear it, and then the brakes will be released, and you can accelerate as normal. But if you forget to acknowledge a signal post for PZB, and it's a hot magnet, it's going to trip the train. Well, the magnet will be tripped. And it's going to automatically apply the emergency brakes, and you will come to a complete stop, and you're going to have to reset everything and start from scratch again. So that's the main difference. Looking a little dark, but we are approaching, what is that, nearly 5 to 6 in the evening. So we might get to see like a nice sunset. Clear to SIFA. Now, of course, you can drive with AFB enabled and not with LZB. Of course, you can just use it. A lot of people do like to use it, even after coming out of LZB, but I personally rather drive the train manually, so I normally disable it. Especially with PZB, you got to be a bit more careful. Because the main thing is, I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but when you see the track speed or the line speed up on the HUD here, that is completely independent to PZB, okay? So, for example, if track speed is 120 kilometers an hour, you go past a signal that needs acknowledging, and and you're in an 85 zone or an 80 zone, don't do 120. You have to slow down. You got 23 seconds after acknowledging a signal post. You got 23 seconds to go from whatever speed you're doing to slowing down to 80 kilometers an hour. Okay, you got 23 seconds. If you don't do it within that 23 seconds, which is more than enough time, if you don't do it within those 23 seconds, though, emergency brakes will be applied, and you're going to have to reset it and start from scratch, like I said. So, at the moment, we're still under LZB, so it's all good. So we can have a little look around. Lovely day. I've got clear weather set. Not a big fan of dynamic weather. Clear to SIFA. Oh, check it out. My hair's still clipping through my cap. Lovely. And I can't remember exactly what this U symbol means. But I do mean, like, I know what it means technically, but I know that tells the driver that LZB is enabled and we don't have to do anything. But maybe it's just a symbol, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not going to lie, guys, disclaimer, I'm not an expert on this. I know a little bit of German, but, you know, I can't tell you what that technically means, if you understand what I'm saying here. But yeah, I mean, you can set destination on here and everything. I think, actually... Yeah, there we go. Because we are coming from Brussels. Clear the SIFA before it starts yelling at me. I can't remember how to do it. E09? I can't remember. Oh, maybe that? Yeah, there we go. Nicked means no destination. Frankfurt. There we go. Brussels. But I want that on the second one as well. Oh, there we go. So that's set. So, you can also change the, I think you can change that to like a black light or a blue light, maybe? Oh, maybe not. I'm thinking of the Talent 2. But anyway, if I jump outside, you'll be able to see Brussels now, right there. Laserbitter. No smoking. Right, so here's LZB. Because we have to do, we're dropping from 250 kilometers an hour to 200. There's the G, which means the train's going to naturally slow down to 200 kilometers an hour. We've got 3 kilometers to do it. But as you can see here, it's like a countdown timer. We're 3 kilometers out from doing it, which is essentially correct, 2.5. About 2.4, which is correct. Now, you don't have to do anything. Technically, like, it reckons we're speeding. Like, we are technically, but we've got plenty of time to get down to 200. And that G will disappear on its own. Obviously, you do have it on the display here if you're playing without the HUD, but yeah, I'm still not confident to drive along this line without the HUD. I mean, look at that. No thanks. Maybe if I know the line a bit better, I might give that a go. That might be a fun video. But as you can see there, it got down to 200 in plenty of time. There we go. We've got a warning. It has the same tone as like letting me know that LZB has been enabled. But like I said, you don't have to do anything. You can manually brake if you want, but you really don't need to. So then, okay, so we have to slow down again to 160. So there's the G again. The G spot, I've dubbed it. So it will get itself down to 160 kilometers an hour, which it's got to do in 1.9 kilometers. Clear to SIFA. Which is probably, I mean, it's just like an AWS on trains in like England and stuff like that. It's very simple. But a lot of people find SIFA to be annoying. But I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. Because we're slowing down as well, gradually slowing down, that's also telling me that we are approaching the end of LZB. Clear that. Yep. Okay, so this is the end of LZB, so the end is flashing here. I'll hit the end key on the keyboard, which is also the PZB release key. So now that has ended, that has stopped flashing, that's been acknowledged, that's all rock and roll. We are out of LZB now. These symbols will disappear, and then we'll have PZB symbols again, and that's when we got to start concentrating on the signals and acknowledging the signals that we have to acknowledge. Now, I do recommend if you're doing this for the first time, especially with PZB enabled. There it goes, there it goes. So LZB is gone, finished, back into PZB. And as I was saying, I recommend acknowledging every signal post. It doesn't matter because the game will not punish you for that. The only time the game will punish you is if you forget to acknowledge a signal post that you were supposed to acknowledge, because then, guess what? The emergency brakes are going to get slammed on and you're just going to have to start from the start again. So, now, because AFB is technically finished as well, even though it's still enabled, all I have to do... Actually, this is the part I kind of get a little bit confused with. I'll just go back to 9... And I can't turn it off because I think it's because of my throttle. I think I got to set that to 0 first. There we go. So set the throttle to 0, press the 1. AFB has now been disabled because, like I said, I like to drive manually. I could continue driving with that, but like I said, I like to drive the train manually, to be honest. I'm like a pilot. I like to fly a plane, like hand fly a plane, instead of just having autopilot take over. So yeah, now I've got full control of the train. I can manually accelerate. Just going to get this right down. Even though it's been disabled, I'll do that. Because it was confused with the throttle. Now that AFB has been set to 0 kilometers an hour and been disabled, I've got access to the throttle now. It will work. So if I throttle up, I'm going to start to speed up. You can hear it as well, kicking in. We are going up 0.5% positive grade. Now, technically, only because I know this line a little bit, I should be concentrating on the signals now, the signal post, like doing what they're telling me to do. Obviously, it's green, so it's clear, so it's all good. Gonna idle it, coast it. Now, because these rail signals, they're very easy to read. They're very, very similar to traffic lights on the road. You know, green is clear, go. Yellow is slow down, basically. On a rail line like this, I think it's pretty much the same as my local train line. If you pass a yellow, or could we have double signals? So we'll have like red over green, green over red, green over green, and so forth, and so forth, so forth. Can't speak, but these are obviously single lights. But yeah, yellow would technically mean 40 kilometers an hour. Don't go any faster than 40. And if you do get a yellow aspect or an amber aspect, whatever way you want to put it, expect red. So expect stop at the next signal. By the way, if you did not know, there's the distance between sets of signals. They're called blocks. So from that signal to the next one, that is a block. So if there's any trains in front of us, any trains behind us, essentially like traffic lights. I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. Green, go. Amber, slow down. Prepare to stop at the next signal. At the end of the block. They're not always red, but, you know, as a driver, you got to think, okay, I'm going to prepare the train to stop just in case I have to. Because in the real world, anything could happen on the train line. You know, a train in front of you could break down or something, or it could be rail, like track work up ahead. It could be anything. Obviously, in a simulator like this, things like that haven't been enabled or implemented into the game, unless you're playing a particular scenario where things would happen. But on a timetable run like this, yeah, they're going to be green signals. You know, it's fine. It's all good. Because nothing has really been programmed into timetable runs. Not that I know of, anyway. Now we are going a little slow. I don't want to be late if I can help it. Make sure the brakes are released. I know they are, but I'm big on confirmation, so it's mainly my OCD. Like, are the brakes definitely released? Yeah. Like, I know damn well they are, because the train's moving at 152 kilometers an hour, so. Right, so we have to drop down to 120 in 3 kilometers. And like I said, acknowledge all of them if you want, okay? That one didn't have a magnet, so it doesn't matter. Press the page down key on PC, that's the shortcut for acknowledging PZB. And if you do acknowledge it, make sure that the nose of the train has passed the signal and the magnet, okay? Oop, I'm speeding. Bit of coaster. That positive grade would naturally slow me down. Well, it should. There we go. 160 kilometers an hour. But, yeah, because if you acknowledge the signal too soon, it won't register that acknowledgement. Okay, there's a speed board, said 12 or 12, which means 120, which it's telling me there, so I better start braking, actually. I'm too busy yapping. Too busy talking. Better get that down to 120, or else this, because if the magnet's hot, it will recognize my speed, and it will trip. There we go. I'm doing way under now, but it's all good. It's better than speeding and having PZB apply to brakes. Alright. Down to 110. We can speed up a touch. So yeah, just make sure if you're acknowledging a signal post, do it just as you passed it. Don't do it beforehand because it won't register the acknowledgement, and then you're going to get pinged if it's a signal post that you have to acknowledge. Clear that. Okay, I'm speeding again, not concentrating. I'm pressing the wrong key. Well done. There we go. Down to 108, 107. That's good enough. As long as you're doing under the limit, PZB does not give a shit. There's some countdown boards. 3, 2, 1 to the next signal. Now, as we approach Aachen, you'll see like little, there's a speed board, 11, which means 110, which you already know about because of the HUD. As we approach like main Hauptbahnhofs or main terminals, or whatever you want to call them, you'll notice like little red lights on the ground, and also white lights. Now that white light on that main signal post, I think that means it's a repeater. I think that's what it means because we've got a slight bend there. The driver cannot see it until it's basically too late. So, like a driver in real life wouldn't have time to react. That's why there's a repeater there. But anyway, the red lights and the white lights on the bottom, or like on the ground, like right here, for example, perfect timing. They're shunting permissions, so we don't have to worry about that because we're not shunting. We're obviously a passenger service. So you can ignore those lights. Those signals mean nothing to us. Those signals are dead to me. Right, so we can speed up to 140 in 1.5 kilometers, but I'll try and sit on 100. Seems to be a decent speed to sit at. As you can tell, I haven't had to acknowledge any of these signals because they're all clear, they're all green. The only ones you really have to acknowledge are the ones that have got a speed limit underneath the main signal head, and it's in yellow, which means upcoming speed, okay? That's fine, that's repeated because there's a bend. We're going to be bending, like coming around to the right. There we go. Like, there is a little bit to do, and it might take you a run or two to get used to it, but honestly, guys, it's really not that hard to drive with, and I quite enjoy it. I agree with Matt Pedalston from Dovetail Games, the executive producer over there. He loves German routes because, you know, you drive with PZB enabled and stuff. It makes it a bit more interesting. It's a bit more immersive, and I agree with him 100%. It's a bit more fun instead of just, you know, pressing some buttons and whatnot. You're a bit more involved. At least it's holding up at the moment. So I can't remember if I mentioned it at the start of the video, but the game has been crashing a lot lately. That's why it's been a little while since I've actually uploaded a TSW2 video. Because I'll get through like halfway through the video and then the game will crash and then I can't be bothered starting it again. It's just like, whatever, dude. So, seems to be all behaving quite well at the moment, which is good. We've only got 7.5 kilometers to go, so fingers crossed that we can finish it off. But guys, if there's anything I've missed out, so we're slowing down a bit too much here. Anything I've missed out, let me know in the comments. Like I said before, I'm no means an expert on the German railway signals and whatnot, so I'm just telling you guys what I know. And I've probably missed something here and there. That is a yellow aspect, but that's for the other track. It's got nothing to do with me. It is approaching dark. Hopefully the gameplay looks okay once it's been uploaded to YouTube. I mean, I could brighten it a little bit in post, but we'll see. Okay, 120 in 3.6 kilometers. Okay, clear signal, good to go. I might just get that down to 120. There we go, that'll do. Clear signal. Can ignore that. That's fine. But like I said before, if you want to acknowledge every signal, you can. The game won't punish you for it. I actually recommend it if, like I was saying before, if it's your first time doing it or your second time or something, or you're not fully 100% sure which signal post you have to acknowledge, just acknowledge all of them. Because then you can't go wrong. It's when you forget to acknowledge a signal post that you were supposed to acknowledge, that's when shit hits the fan. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that bad. Okay, we have a flashing signal here. I don't think we have to actually acknowledge this, but I will. Okay. So there's no action on the HUD here. It's not flashing. There's no 1000 hertz that's lit up. That was just letting me know that it's going down to 120, which I already knew about anyway, because I have the HUD up on the screen. Obviously, real-life train drivers in Germany wouldn't have that luxury. Be kind of cool if they did, but no. I mean, they should know the line inside and out. They should know when it curves, the gradients off by heart. They should know everything. Okay, I will acknowledge this as well. Notice the yellow 10 there, which means 100. The HUD's telling me 100 kilometers an hour in 600 meters. A lot of people say, oh, you should acknowledge all the signals that flash. I mean, you can. Because I am. You know, it really does not matter. Okay, that says 4. Got to acknowledge that. Clear to SIFA. I nearly forgot to do that, actually. Now, I am going to slow down. Yeah, because see the 1000 hertz that's lit up? I am going to get it down to, because it's 70, track speed 70 in 400 meters, but because the 85 is not alternating to 70, that means I have to do a minimum of 80. But, like I just said, track speed goes down to 70 in 100 meters, so I'm just going to get it down to 70. Like that. Yellow 4. Acknowledge that. Okay. Now we have to do 40 in 400 meters, so I'm just going to continue braking. Because the 1000 hertz is lit up again. Okay, so we acknowledge this one. I'm just going to get off the brakes before I start doing 0 kilometers an hour. Actually, there we go. We'll get it down to 40. Now we have to definitely acknowledge this next signal here, which is the last one before we get in to Aachen. And you'll start, like that 1000 hertz, watch, it will disappear and come back again. So I'm going to do that. Disappeared, comes back again. And then technically that should be flashing, but it's not. So there you go. Now when we actually stop at the platform, that 1000 hertz would change to 500 hertz. Which technically means if you were going through, if you were taking off from here, or departing from here, should I say, taking off, because like I'm flying a plane, but restricted speed, instead of 45 kilometers or 40, it would say 25 kilometers an hour, or essentially 20 kilometers an hour by law. There it goes, 500 hertz. But we are braking anyway. We are stopping anyway here, probably where that H sign is. We do have a red aspect up ahead in 160 meters, but it doesn't matter. We have to stop here anyway. Okay, open the doors. Let the passengers out. It's going to jump out real quick. But that's about it, guys. That is a timetable run with all the German safety systems enabled, turned on, and acknowledged and all that. So hopefully I explained that in a manner that you could understand. Like I said before, if there's any other tips or anything I've missed, please let me know down below in the comments section. As I fall onto the tracks, I'm just investigating the ballast. Looks good to me. But in order to end this timetable, I do believe I'm going to have to shut the doors, so actually I can do it from out here. Okay, shut the automatic doors. So all I have to do is shut this one, and I think that will register as doors shut. But essentially, guys, that's it. Do let me know in the comments as well if you found this video useful. I try and explain things the best I can. Right, we'll close that. And that should technically end the timetable. There we go. Even though only one door has been locked, unless they're on a system where they're all locked. But that's it. Journey done. Timetable run complete. In the next video, guys, I'm thinking about... I got to switch route. I'm thinking about jumping into the East Coast way again. And just quickly show you all. I went ahead and... where is it? On timetable? Yeah, the 313. The train I bought off camera. It was on sale. I think it cost me like $4. So... I'm thinking about doing a few runs in this old school train. It's I'm pretty sure it's camshaft driven, so it's essentially it's like driving the 1972 tube stock from well here the Bakerloo line. It's essentially the same sort of driving mechanic as those 72 Mark II tube stock. But guys, I'm going to leave the video right there. Like I said earlier, let me know in the comments if there's anything I missed. With the safety systems wise, let me know all the good things in the comments, and also let me know if you enjoyed that video and if you found it useful. And you can be honest, let me know all the good things. I do take constructive criticism well. If you're a prick, well then I just might ignore and delete your shit. It's not hard to be nice, but guys, I'm going to leave that video right there. If you did enjoy that video though, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content, make sure to hit that notification bell so you're notified of every single upload, and I'll catch ya in the next video. Adios.